As we approach the end of the year, the National Assembly is wrapping up its sessions, but contentious issues remain, causing friction between the ruling and main opposition parties. So to discuss this further, we have our political correspondent An Sung-jin with us in the studio. Welcome, Sung-jin.
Thank you for having me, Soo-jin.
So the last day of the regular session at the National Assembly took place earlier this week. Can you start us off by walking us through what happened?
Right, Soo-jin. So Tuesday marked the last day of the regular session at the National Assembly, and a plenary session was underway when the People Power Party initiated a filibuster. That plenary session was supposed to start at 2 p.m., but the two ruling and main opposition parties failed to reach an agreement on the agenda. So the party leaders, as well as the National Assembly Speaker Won-sik, agreed to postpone the session until 4 p.m. When the session eventually began and the Democratic Party moved forward with the controversial Franchise Business Act provision, the People Power Party launched a filibuster in response. The first speaker in the filibuster had her microphone cut off as the National Assembly Speaker deemed her remarks unrelated to the franchise bill. Other PPP lawmakers approached the Speaker to protest the decision. The National Assembly had planned to open its afternoon plenary session to process 3 government guarantee approvals as well as 59 bills. However, with the PPP filing for a filibuster on all 59 bills, the proceedings were brought to a halt. This was not a surprise, as the PPP had already made it clear that if the DP pushed forward with any contentious legislation, it would launch a filibuster against any bill brought to the floor.
So it's clear that tensions are running quite high, and also an extraordinary session convened on Thursday. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, we were supposed to see a vote on the government guarantee approvals and bills from Tuesday at the plenary session of the December extraordinary session. First off, the Fair Transactions in Franchise Business Act was approved after it has been pushed back that to a previous filibuster. But when it was the turn of the next item on the agenda, the Criminal Procedure Act, the People Power Party initiated another filibuster.
So there's not that many days left until the end of the year. Can you tell us how things are expected to unfold?
Right, so we can expect major delays of the passage of these bills. A filibuster can end 24 hours after it begins with the approval of 3/5 of all lawmakers. But because each bill requires a separate vote to end the filibuster, only one bill can be processed per day. The PPP has labeled the judicial reform bills pushed by the DP as evil, and as I said before, the party will continue to filibuster all bills brought to the floor.
As we have already promised the public, we have made it clear that we will fight against every bill brought to the plenary session with filibusters unless the ruling party withdraws its attempt to pass the 8 unacceptable, unconstitutional laws.
The PPP is now even taking livelihood-related bills hostage. I don't know how to interpret the fact that they are blocking even the bills they propose. In the end, they are holding people's livelihoods hostage through these filibusters.
So we will have to keep an eye on the National Assembly next week to see how all these issues are going to be resolved.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your insight with us today, Sung-jin.
My pleasure as always.